larger cousin of the MiG-29 Fulcrum is the SU-27 flanker. The SU-27 was developed for the Soviet PVO air defense forces for intercepting low-flying bombers. Previous Soviet interceptors, like the MiG-25, had radars which could not track aircraft flying below them at low altitudes. The advent of advanced low-altitude bombers like the American B-1B led the Soviets to develop the SU-27 flanker as an antidote. The SU-27 has a sophisticated new radar which can pick out low-flying aircraft and attack them with medium-range radar-guided or infrared-guided missiles. The flanker can also be used in offensive roles, such as an escort fighter.
The flanker is a long-range escort fighter. It's used to escort Soviet bombers, typically as they would be coming over the North Sea, for instance, to attack the UK. It's demonstrated here at Paris as a very maneuverable aircraft, much more so than we thought, and this is probably due to the fact that it's got an advanced fly-by-wire system, which is a computer backup system for the pilot.
The fly-by-wire flight control system in the flanker is evidence of the sophistication of its design. This is the first major Soviet combat aircraft to incorporate this technology, even though it was employed in American aircraft in the 1970s. The fly-by-wire system enables the aircraft to undertake maneuvers that would have been unthinkable in earlier generations of fighters. Indeed, the Soviets are so confident of the quality of the design that they have suggested the initiation of a new aerobatic competition for military aircraft, which they have offered to host in Moscow. The most incredible example displayed by the flanker is a maneuver called the Pugachev Cobra, named after the pilot who developed it.
The maneuverability of the flanker certainly surprised everyone at Paris. It's demonstrated a maneuver that the Soviets have called the Cobra, which involves the aircraft coming forward, tilting very far back, and then hammering down forward again. This, although it looked as if it was just a rather fancy maneuver, actually tactically could be quite useful in slowing the aircraft down in tactical engagements. And this is due, we think, to its fairly advanced fly-by-wire control system, which is a computer backup for the pilot to enable him to carry out such advanced maneuvers.
The nearest counterparts of the flanker are the American F-15 Eagle and the British Tornado. The Su-27 is larger than the F-15, about 22 tons combat loaded compared to 19 tons. Both aircraft have impressive climb and maneuverability, with the F-15's engines offering 21 tons of thrust and the flanker offering 25 tons of thrust. The Soviets developed a special version of the Su-27 called the P-42 to challenge many of the time-to-altitude records set earlier by the F-15. The flanker currently holds 27 of the world's performance records. It is difficult to compare the actual combat capabilities of both aircraft. Dogfights are no longer decided by speed and maneuverability. The quality of radars and missiles is usually decisive. At the moment, the Su-27 can track and engage only one target at a time with its radar-guided R-72 missiles. In contrast, the F-15 can engage multiple targets simultaneously with the new AMRAAM missile. But there are still many mysteries about the Su-27's performance, and many judgments may prove premature. Besides the single-seat Su-27 fighter, there is also a twin-seat Su-27UB trainer version. There have been some questions whether the two-seat Su-27UB might have a combat role.
When the two-seat version of the flanker was first shown, or first seen in the West, some analysts believe that this may be the Soviet Union's answer to the F-15E, which is a multi-role version of the Eagle, both for air-to-air and air-to-ground operations. But talking around with the Soviets and other people, it's a straight familiarization trainer.
The SU-27 is likely to appear in the near future in a new version for carrier operations. The Soviets have been conducting tests with the flanker to permit it to operate from the decks of its new Tbilisi-class carriers. The first of these is expected to enter service in the early 1990s. In this new role, the flanker will serve as a counterpart to the US Navy's F-14 Tomcat carrier fighter.